What?
Why?
Well, it keeps you alert, doesn't it? Bit of a shock on a morning. But they've grown, haven't they?
Yeah, there's a few there.
Oh, there's some plain ones, but there's some real good ones, isn't there? Them down there have really shifted them heifers, haven't they?
I'd say no.
Go on, fellas. Go on. Go, fellas. Hey.
Now then, it's the last weekend of November, and I tell you what, it's cold. There's a real chill. Me and Oliver are just demonstrating a Teagle straw bedder that's for sale. Richard wants a video of it. Tell you what, she's a good straw bedder actually. 2014 I think it is, model. So I'll just stick her around Barley, and I'll get my phone, give it a video, and we'll put it on here as well. You got a knife? I know we're probably doing this wrong, but we aren't used to bedding up with one of these. We normally do it by hand. We're a bit old-fashioned. This bale ain't the best, it's going to break up to hell. I'll tell him to put back door up. Yeah.
Is that for you?
That's for YouTube, and I'll use my phone. Let's see how she goes then, eh? Doing two jobs at once here, look. And my wife reckons I can't multitask. you go, works perfect. Electric controls at the back. What do you think, Ol?
Good. Morning, it's the 4th of December. Now happening today really. Phil and Ollie are having days off. Ollie's injured. I'll see if I can get a picture of his eye and show you. He's really banged himself like so. But now I've just got a bit of feeding up to do and got a few jobs at other farm. We want to walk across wheat heap actually because no one's had a real look right at back at shed. Just make sure there's no hot spots. Feed these cows, just give them a bit of meal. Have a walk around pigs. We bedded them all up yesterday. They need some muck out next week if it's mild. We don't like mucking them out if it's cold weather because it's surprising how much warmth they get from the composting muck sort of thing, you know. As it's rotting it creates warmth and keeps them warm like an electric blanket. So we don't, if it's a mild week we'll get them mucked out. So a lot of noise coming out of one of these pig yards. Whether they're killing one, I don't know. So walk through them. That's quite fresh actually. I mean, bloody weather's strange at the moment. Sometimes it's bloody, it's like 13, 14 degrees and then day after it could be hardly above freezing. I think we better have some lights on. Well, 400 going next week. I had a confirmation that one of the fieldsmen who comfort company said we're having 400 out, make a bit of space. Like, done really well, really pleased. There's got to be some muck though. I mean, last year we were skimping on putting straw in because we didn't have it. This year we're putting as much as we can in, you know, to make muck. And it's so valuable with the price of fertiliser and what it does to the soil. Like, I mean, it's just farming without 40-yard muck. I don't know how you lads do it, relying on just you know, granular P&K. Honestly, I don't know how to do it. Bloody hell, look at the height of the muck. Look at that. That's a 5-foot wall panel, and we've been, well, that's the other side. And we've been putting that green waste compost over at wall. Christ, I'd like to get it tested. In fact, I might get it tested, see what's actually in this muck. Give us an idea of how much to put on. And where and when sort of thing. You know, behave, leave her alone. So she's in season. So they give her a bit of an hard time. If it gets any rougher with her, we'll take her out. But, yeah, they're getting too thick on ground. They're ready for, they'll probably take 50 or 60 out of each yard. They look really well. I'm going to order a couple more of these feeders this week. I'm just, them other ones are just getting a bit thin. Get them off this firm. Real good local firm, really. And they're like in kit form of these feeders, so if you do get something damaged or some rot in the bottom panel, you can replace them. You don't have to replace the whole lot. Yeah, that's the green waste stuff we put in. It's just like fines from a green waste shredder. It's just basically garden rubbish. There's no food waste or anything like that. I mean, if there was food waste, then you can't put it in. Yeah, it just makes good muck. Like we got onto it last year when straw was really in short supply. We were using a lot more of it, and but we've got tons of straw this time. But any surplus we can sell. But I don't really like selling it. I mean, once we go back on here, doesn't it? Had this wheat on this. Oh God, what variety is this? I think it's Skyfall. It's got a bit in front of itself. There's loads of tillers. Well, whether it'll lose a tiller or two in winter, I don't know. But yeah, it looks really pleased. But as I said, this mild weather has made it grow too fast, really. To be fair, while we're over this side of the farm, just over a paddle across where I re-drilled, because I haven't been since I re-drilled it, and could easily have a repeat of what happened before if it's germinating and slugs are eating it. So we'll have a paddle across. Yeah, they're very, very slow, but look, they are just starting to shove a sprout out. So can't find any slugs. Can't find any slugs. It's as though this cold weather, because there was a -3, well, stroke 4 frost the other day, and I think it's them slugs have gone out where the cold earth, cold soil. So yeah, it should be fine. But there's a few more places in this. There's a big patch over there, about half an acre, very thin, but it'd have been like a patchwork quilt, so you have to sort of, like, if we're going to re-drill a bit, re-drill it in a little block. Just check it, wheat heap and barley heap. We've got a lot left. We've got 6 loads sold, and top price was 230. We got to 245 the other day. We missed the boat. We thought about it too much. Well, I told our man, when it gets to 250 we'll sell you a lot. Anyway, never. It slipped back. Something to do with Russia or something, releasing a load of wheat. But hey up, young fella, Mr. Starling. So now you've got in here. So yeah, a fair bit of barley left. So don't know what's going to happen with price, to be fair. I don't know whether it's going to go up or down. I think there's plenty myself, and I mean, it's alright. It got to 245. How greedy are we, like? I mean, I think it wants selling if it's 200 is a good price, you know. I mean, there won't be no poultry or pig fellas left, will there? And ladies, or pig farmers left, will they? It has to be affordable, their food. I mean, poultry and pig grub must be an unbelievable price at the moment, if one of the biggest raw materials, £240 a tonne. So right, we'll go a bit further. That's lovely barley though, look at that, bull barley. We've had a bit of ergot in our wheat though. First 2 load what weren't, got rejected for ergot, but we think it could have been come off maize land. So anything after maize next year is going to get an extra fungicide. So you live and learn sort of thing. Yeah, £300 deduction on each load. Few oats there we're using for feed. Yeah, this shed was built in the mid-60s. It'd be a huge shed in its day, but it's barely high enough now for tipping 16-ton trailers. To be very, very careful at roof, but we want another one. Going to put another one up down at other farm, I think, in time. Just down at a farm of ours at Lather, a place called Lather, and it's real heavy grey clay, you know, that type of stuff, what smears, you know, very fine soils, and as soon as it gets wet it sort of seals itself up. And I sprayed it I rounded it a couple of weeks back because there was some blackgrass plants just getting in front of themselves, and they were likely to shed their seeds before winter sort of made them dormant. But I've just come, and I expected, actually, it's been quite wet down here, and I expected a lot more water stood. I mean, there's water in the wheelings, but there is on lighter soils. But when I got a pleasant surprise, I brought the trusty old fork. Pleasant surprise, actually, when I dug the fork in. Let me just put you down there. Are you alright there? I mean, you can see the consistency of the bloody stuff, but there is a lot of worms. Look at all them worms and worm channels. All them worm channels, all assisting drainage sort of thing. Let's have another forkful. Like what we've done with this, we've had spring oats in it for the last 3 years on trot and direct drilled them. We ain't put any cultivation on this in 3 years. Tell you what, look at the worms. This is, it looks healthy. Looks quite fibrous and all, but only thing we're lacking here is I know I've rounduped it, but what we're lacking here is some green cover. It should have been, as soon as we got this crop off of the straw, we should have been straight in and put some in. Even something like, I don't know, just any cover, and it'd have been a lot healthier. Because this is rumland. You think you've got some bloody wetland, you lot, I don't know, but you come from down here. This is terrible. Actually, these oats did very, very well. The last thing we combined, that was the last field we combined this season. And they do about 2.5 tonne. It was our own saved seed. They've got 1 fungicide, 1 herbicide, which was very, very cheap mixes. Not many kilos of nitrogen. 120 kilo nitrogen of N per hectare. So they didn't use a lot of nitrogen. They did 2.5 tonne. Yeah, they just take a bit of marketing, but marketed, you know what I mean. You know, they're not as easy to sell as barley or wheat, but well, it loaded out the other day. Phil made gate holes a bit wider. Seems he had to take header off every field. Fields here, and he had to take header off. So come down and round some bushes out from the tree out there. So yeah, this is our next field. I mean, not easy at all. I mean, yes, there's a bit of water stood there. I think I had to come down with a low disturbance subsoil and pull these little bits up in a dry time after a dry harvest and just sort of pull them up a little bit. But the whole of the field is in real good order. Let's have a dig here. When my dad bought this farm, it was sort of oh god, look at that. I mean, there's nought in it, but worms are finding something. You know, there should be loads of fibrous roots in that of something we've drilled before we drill it with oats next year. You know, it should be building up with green matter. But no, when my dad bought this farm, everyone said it was a grass farm. There used to be grass farms, but I mean, but if we could turn these soils round with green crops, it's the way forward, isn't it? Just in this direct drilled barley on this sandy soil at my dad's. To be fair, it looks a lot better now than it did 3 weeks back. You know, it's tilled out a bit. They look quite strong plants. This residue from last year's crop is sort of protecting it a little bit, causing a bit of harm for the land. But yeah, it ain't so bad. I mean, that's last year's crop. There's going to be a lot of that, but you know, such as that, I think it'll be too thick and be left in the bottom. So we'll see. I mean, time will tell. But the structure of the soil, well, there is no structure to this soil. It's toy soil. Look, but there's quite a few worms. You know, but it's very solid. Wants some fibre in it. Some fibre in it does that bloody soil. I mean, there's no structure to it whatsoever. I mean, there's a few worms, so I mean, it must be fairly fertile. Put a hell of a lot of muck over it. hell of a lot of muck in the past. And it's quite fertile. P&K levels are going a bit strong actually, and they want someone to utilise that. I mean, we keep mucking it and mucking it, and we're going to create like lock-up situation where it locks all the nutrients up, because the P&K levels are high. I think they're in like 5s and 6s now. But the plan is with this field, it's winter barley obviously, there's going to be a big heap of compost put there in the next couple of weeks. And we're going to compost it, and then I'm going to be straight in with a mustard, a Phacelia, something like that. And more foliage the better. I wouldn't mind, it wouldn't bother me if I was walking through it before I drilled it and it was up to you, you know. And then been looking at them crimped rollers, reckon we could make one, and maybe a crimped roller and drill straight into that. So anyway, yeah, quite pleased actually, because well, I don't worry about how, but yeah, I wasn't worried about it, but I just sort of concerned that it was bloody going to be a disaster and look terrible. It looks better than I expected, so that was fine. Suffers terrible with manganese, this land, so it's as solid as out. So whether that combats that problem, I don't know. Right, home time now. Let's see how what. Oh God. Someone's been Christmas shopping. That's my daughter's, but that's mine. Bottle of whiskey or something. Oh, I'll get his bills.
And I'm like,
Very good job on it.
It's frightening Lydia though.